Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? If you hear Alex hollering, him and Dad are upstairs playing in the playroom. So Dad is taking one for the team and entertaining the 2-year-old. All right. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Renee. Hi, Em. Hey, Jess. How are you guys doing? Oh my goodness, I am so excited to talk about today's book. How's everybody been overall? The weather is starting to slowly drop here in Oklahoma. Let me see. Um, Tomorrow, the high is 79. Now, was the high today 90? Yes. But that means that it's slowly dropping. Cleo also says hello. She is in a very, very needy, lovey mood right now. So if she meows a lot, I apologize. She's just very much into all of the love right now. Hey, Ellen, how are you? Hey, how are you? So let's see. My husband seems to be having a slight cold, so hoping my little ones and I can somehow escape it. I hope that you can too. There's so much going on, so many different things all around. It was in the 50s in Indiana. Oh, Renee, that sounds amazing. That's like ideal. Ideal. Okay. Happy fall weather. Weather is arriving in Virginia. No. Yeah, I'm totally sick of getting sick. I get it. My husband was sick all last week, and I was like, don't get me sick. Alicia, hey. Hey, April. Finally, I know. I'm so happy to see you. Sheltering for the hurricane, hoping to not lose power. Yes, if you guys are in the area with the hurricane, I really, really hope that you guys are staying safe, and that if you were able to evacuate, you evacuated, and if not, you're hunkered down and staying inside. Hey, Roxy, how are you? Yeah, I've been listening to NPR and in the morning and getting the updates, and that's one thing that we don't have to worry about here in Oklahoma, the landlocked state, is we don't have those kind of things. Tornadoes, yes. Hurricanes, no. All right. Let's see. I'm super, super excited about today's book and just talking about it. Hi, Ivy. How are you? Before I start talking about it, I hope that you guys, or I want you guys to put in in the comments, how many Cleos, how many stars did you give it? Let me know, was this a good Cozy Escape book club pick, or was this I'm glad I tried it, but it's just going to be a tasting? Give me your ratings. Thinking about everyone in Florida. Yes, hope everything goes well. Hey, Monique, how are you? I want to be a part of the Silver Six when I turn silver. I want to be a part of them now. I am an old lady at my core, and I feel like that's my jam. That's where I need to be. Okay, so while you guys are putting in your ratings, I'm going to read the synopsis. So, this is the first book in the Silver Six Crafting Mystery series. It says there isn't much crime in Lilyvale, Arkansas, but local authorities have their hands full when Miss Sherry May Stanton Cutler and her housemates, a crafty group of retirees who've dubbed themselves the Silver Six. But when Sherry May's niece, Nixie, arrives to keep them in line, Lilyvale also plays host to a killer. When Leslie Stanton Nix gets the latest call from Lilyvale detective Eric Shore, she knows it means trouble. There's been another kitchen explosion at her Aunt Sherry's farmhouse, and the dreamy voiced detective has had enough. If Nixie does not check in on her aunt in person, the Silver Six could become wards of the court. But the trouble Nixie finds in Lilyvale is not at all what she expects. The seniors are hosting a folk art festival at the farmhouse featuring Sherry's hand-woven baskets when land developer Jill Elsman arrives to bully Nixie's aunt into selling the property. When Jill is later found dead in the cemetery, Sherry is suspected of weaving a murder plot, and it's up to Nixie and the Silver Six to untangle the truth. So let's see how everybody liked it. We've got 4.5 stars. I loved it. 3.5, 3.5, 4 stars. I enjoyed it more than I thought. Yay. We've got, I still haven't finished it. Okay. I hope that you're enjoying it. 3 stars. Didn't get to finish. Got married this past weekend and got too busy. I did like what I read. Congratulations, Ivy. That's fantastic. And totally a good excuse for not finishing the book. I haven't finished it yet. I like it so far. Yes, congratulations, Ivy. That's so exciting. Oh, I'm so happy for you. So I will give this like a 4.25. I really, really enjoyed it. There were some aspects where I was like, but we'll get into that, of course, as we do with the discussion. Ellen gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it and became more excited about it when I got to the end. I would agree, Lisa. Yes. Yes, congratulations. That's just so exciting. So yeah, I created the character list and I came up with 22 characters. So if you haven't gone and looked on the Patreon, the character list is there. But I want to see if I can do something. Let's see if I can share my screen. And I wonder if I can share my screen. And so here's the character list that I created. It had a lot of people in it. And normally if it has a lot of people in it at first, I get really, really nervous when it comes to trying to remember who everybody was. So it can get really, really overwhelming when there's too many characters because you don't know who you need to focus on and everything like that. What did you guys feel about the amount of characters in the book? Did it seem overwhelming or did it seem like just enough to make the town and everything feel more cozy? Was it like did it feel like sort of tell me what your thoughts are because I can go either way. Lacey, hello. Same. Too many people to me. It's not a cozy anymore. I agree. Like I still want the cozy small town feel when I'm reading the cozy mysteries. All the characters worried me at first, but I had no issue keeping up with them. Okay, good. I couldn't keep the 6 straight. Yes, I had to like give physical descriptions to all of them. I'm sorry if you can hear my son crying. He probably bonked himself. I was confused at some points, but overall it wasn't too bad. Overwhelmed, it causes confusion. I loved the town, but it was hard tracking all of the individuals. It was. So like at some points I was like, okay, I've got it down. And then I would go, huh, I don't, who is that person? Who is that person supposed to be? And so I really wish that most authors would put a character list at the beginning, just explaining who everybody is. Like sometimes that can be a spoiler, but if I can just reference it back and forth, that would be nice. The amount of characters felt like it made sense for the story, but my brain forgot most outside of Hellspawn and didn't like the overuse of that. I did feel like there were a lot of characters. I felt overwhelmed until I got closer to the end and I started to get to know everybody. I had a hard time keeping the 6 straight. Agreed. So one of the things as I started writing my own cozy mystery was like how many main characters is too many main characters, because at that point, like if we count the 6 and then Nixie and then we count the sheriff, that's just 8, or the detective Eric, that's just 8 main characters. And then there's the side characters that build upon that. It was a lot at first for me as well. Okay, So, what are your main thoughts about Nixie at the beginning of the book? Do you like her or not? So, I had mixed feelings about Nixie at the beginning of the book because I wondered if she was going to be an immature kind of sleuth, kind of main character. Um, but I realized that as the book went on, that she was just sort of a little misunderstood. She had a lot of sorrow on her plate, and she didn't really, I guess, she needed to grow and feel like she needed to have a sense of family, and she was very, very lonely. And so I feel like as the book went on, I liked her more and more. Um, and I like the fact that the book was able to get me to change my mind about her as a whole. I really enjoy watching the development of the character, especially in a first book, um, grow as much as she did in this book, because I feel like she really did grow a lot in this book. Um, I liked her all along. At first, I thought she was flighty. Yeah, I didn't like her at all in the beginning, but then I grew fond of her. I'm glad that I'm not the only one who felt the exact same way. I had mixed feelings about her. I was disappointed at her for not keeping up with her aunt in a better way. Agreed. And I think that she started to become very disappointed in herself as well. In the beginning, I thought Nixie was a bit condescending towards the six. I agree. And one of the things that I really, really loved with this book is that she had this perception in her mind that they were going to be senile, that they were that they were house poor, like all of these things. She had all of these misconceptions of the Silver Six. But then as she got to know them and she realized that even if you are a senior, you are still just as amazing as you were in your prime. Like, my Nani is my favorite person in the whole entire world. She is my everything. Um, and she's 70, I think she's like 74 or 75, maybe 76. But she told me once that this was probably like a year or two ago. She told me, she goes, Courtney, I still feel 25 in my mind. She goes, my body has aged, but my mind has not. And that really got me thinking about that in a different way. And so I really like that Nixie grew to understand, respect, and love the Silver Six as they were, not as she thought they would be. Um, let's see. I really felt she was very immature. I actually felt that way about her. That way about her throughout the story. I totally agree about the overuse of hellspawn. It was a lot of hellspawning. I did grow to like her as she grew and became more dedicated to her aunt and the rest of the Silver Six. I feel that she did show some growth, but she was still not my favorite. I really loved the Six so much, and that kept me reading. I agree. 1,000,000%. Speaking of the six, my next question is Silver Six, yay or nay? Do you like that they all live with Sherry and have their own ways of taking care of each other? And would you ever live like that? I thought that it was really, really cool that um, they all found their way to Sherry's house and to taking care of each other and to, you know, picking up the slack where others could not, and they just became their own found family. And I really, really love the found family trope. I love it when someone who was not loved the way that they needed to be, or not taken care of the way that they needed to be, become loved and find a family of their own. So I know that I see that a lot of people were really, really enjoying the Silver Six, but was there a specific one of the Silver Six that you really, really drew into with, or was it just their whole entire collection together that you really enjoyed? Even as a kid, I wanted to be a golden girl. That was that was very that. This was very that, and I loved it. I agree. I still want to be a golden girl. I love the Silver Six and would absolutely love that way. It is a great way to maintain your independence and to create your own family. Yay on the Silver Six. They were a family. No way I could live like that, but they are awesome. I love the relationship they had with one another and the dedication. Agreed. I liked that the Silver Six and liked all their different personalities, and it was a great home. I wouldn't want to live with that many people, though. Probably not all in the same house, but owning a big ranch and everyone has their own house, and we are all just a walking distance away. Yes. Golden Girls, my husband. I liked the Silver Six. I wish I saw more Eleanor. She seems most like me. Yeah, I really do wish that we got to know a little bit more of the personalities, but I know that that could be overwhelming in a first book. So maybe in the subsequent books in the series, maybe you get to know a little bit more. I loved the grouchy man. I'm pretty sure the grouchy man was Fred. Fred was what was the grouch and the fixer upper, I believe. I loved them so much. Found family is a favorite for me, and they cared for each other, and it was wonderful. Loved them, loved the Silver Six, gave me a great sense of family. Yeah, and it also made it seem like almost like their own cozy town in a way, like the way that when Nixie got there was a whole entire art show going on, and all of like they were just taking care of each other, and like everybody knew one another, and I still got a small town feeling from the book, even though there were so many characters. So I know this is sort of off the cuff, but do you guys have a hobby that you love that you could one day make an extra income when you retire? I really, really, really think it's cool that they all found a way to subsidize their money with basket weaving or fixing or doing oils and things like that. I really, really liked that. I thought that that was super cool. I really enjoyed that. Oh, yes, yes. Shout out to the 7th Silver, Mrs. G. She was my favorite by far. I loved her so freaking much. She was hilarious. And I loved the sass she had. And I love the fact that she had like a flat screen TV and an iPhone. And everybody's like, she never leaves her house. She's a recluse. And like all of this, I was like, oh, I thought it was so cool. I really, really, really dug Miss G. I couldn't agree more. As for like hobbies, I don't think that there's like really anything that I do that like could necessarily be like a good like I don't know, like a side income. Like I have the book club. But then that just helps me buy more books. So it's sort of like feeding my addiction. I like to do a lot of hobbies. Like I like doing embroidery, and then I learned how to make earrings out of clay, and but I tend to go, ooh, I want to learn how to do that, and then I go and learn how to do that, and then I'm like, ooh, I want to go learn how to do this, and then I do that. I go back and forth. I love making miniatures. I have a 3D printer, so making things to sell, love it. My husband has a 3D printer, and he's made so many cool things with it. I'm retired and I love fashion. I work part-time in a resale clothing store. I'm a fashionista merchandiser for the store. Yes, and I love watching all of your posts on Facebook and Instagram when you get something new and cool. Knitting and spinning yarn, yes. I'm okay at crocheting, knitting, and DMing D&D. So probably not enough to make money. Hobbies are expensive. They are, especially if you go and you buy like the 5e D&D companion books. Those things are not cheap. I was an elementary school teacher for 32 years. Yes. And that's another thing that I really, really loved about the Silver Six is they volunteered to help show the younger generation all of their knowledge. I thought that was so cool. I go in and out of hobbies and haven't stuck with one yet. There's nothing wrong with that. The only hobby that I have consistently stuck with is BookTube. That is the only hobby in this book club. Everything else I like go in and out of or whatever, but I have been consistently doing YouTube since June of 2017, and then started book club in, I think, 2018. So that's the only thing I've consistently done. So what were your guys' thoughts on the fact that the murder didn't technically take place until about 40% into the book? So normally when you are reading a book or reading a cozy or a murder mystery, and since I've, written my first draft, everybody says that the murder or the death should come in within the first like 10% of the book. Okay? That's how you get the hook, that's how you get them going. But I realized that we were getting a lot of backstory on Hellspawn and like all of the trouble she was causing and everything like that. And then I didn't realize that she did not actually get killed until 40% into the book, almost halfway through, which is almost unknown in mysteries. So, what were your thoughts on that? Did you even notice? Because I found myself not really noticing or caring that that the murder happened so late, because there were other things that were going on. There was other gossip. There was other things like to get me attached or to make me hate Jill or like to really follow the characters, that when I finally was like, oh, she's dead now, and I looked down and it was like 40 or 41% in the book, I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. Like I didn't feel salty. There have been some books where I'm like, oh God, like when's the person going to die? And or like when is a murder gonna happen? That sounds so horrible, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And I felt like it was actually okay. Like I enjoyed the fact that it was like that. My last one was jewelry making while I was pregnant, but now nothing with a 5-month-old baby. I totally get you. Yeah, I'm due in November, and I'm gonna try my darndest to keep up with everything. I actually really liked that. I liked getting to know how awful the victim was before she was axed. I agree. I actually enjoyed it. It gave premise and background for the murder, as well as allowing us time to start to get to know the characters. Yes, I didn't mind it. I thought it flowed well. It did feel like it took a while, but there was so much to do and so many people to meet. Agreed. I was surprised that the murder happened so late. I almost forgot that there should be a murder until it happened. I couldn't agree more. I was on the exact same vein. I didn't notice that it was later on. I did notice, but it was fine with how it was done. I know I said, when is the murder of Hellspawn going to happen? I was impatient. In most cozies, they happen right away. Exactly. Like normally it's like you introduce, and then it's like you might get like a scene with the person and them being like a grump or like horribleness. And then there's the murder. And it just sort of goes like that, because it's very, there's a pattern to it, or there's a math term, but my brain does not know words anymore. I know, yes. I enjoyed it, but it made me doubt the main characters. I kept waiting for the murder. It took a while. I didn't notice it either and was good with it. Yeah, I was not salty with it. I was perfectly fine with it. Did you think that the author did a good job of making the reader hate Jill Hellspawn as much as the rest of the town? I feel like she did do, for me, I felt like she really did make me not like Jill. Like the way that she treated Trudy, her cousin, the way that she talked to the Silver Six, like the way that she just treated other people and did very much like a lot of blackmailing and things like that. Like I just, in my gut, just didn't like her at all. And it made when Sherry was sort of put the blame on as a suspect, and when Eric pulled her down to the police office, and then everybody came to confess because they knew Sherry hadn't done it and that everybody had a reason to hate her and want her dead. I thought that was a really, really good, well done scene by the author. I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was like I could visually see it in my mind, all of the town coming in and saying like, no, I killed her. No, I killed her. No, I killed her. And it was, I like that whole entire just like scene gave me all the feels, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. Um, Absolutely, I did not care for Jill at all. She was a horrible person. Yes, and I think it was another mystery of what was Jill up to. Agreed. Oh, you guys know how much I love mysteries within mysteries. She certainly made her evil and aggressive. I agree the author did a good job of setting up the character. She earned the name Hellspawn. I did not like Jill at all. The author did a great job with that. Side note, if it wasn't for notes, I would have forgotten several times throughout that Hellspawn had a real name, let alone what it was. I agree. I was so mad at Eric when he took Sherry to the PD. The town coming together was fantastic. I loved it. It was just like a perfect scene. I didn't like her, but when the murderer confessed and what he said of her, I disliked her so much. Agreed. I couldn't agree more. So I know that a couple of the past cozies that we've read this year, a lot of people have said that the town didn't feel like a character of its own, which is one of the ways that one of the things that we really, really love about cozies. Did you feel like this cozy that the town felt like it had its own character? For me personally, I feel like the house and the land that that Nixie and Sherry's family made, I felt like that felt very much like its own character. And I feel like maybe in the books next in the series, it will feel more like a character because of what we find out is going to happen at the end, which we'll get to in a minute. But I feel like it was better than a couple of the past cozies in making the town feel like it was cozy, as though it wasn't a really, really big town. So I think that the author did a pretty good job for it being a first in the series. Jess, I agree with you, Courtney. It was mainly the house rather than the town. Yeah, I feel like we got a really, really, really good description of the house and like the outhouses with the restrooms and like the fix-it shops and then Mrs. G's house and everything. I feel like it was well done. I feel the home of the Silver Six felt like a character, but that the town itself needed more presence. I agree. I agree that the town will be more prominent in the future books with where Nixie is located. Yes, yes, yes. So, when we talk about like what's appropriate or like what feels right with the amount of like past knowledge you give your readers or like anything like that, what were your thoughts on all of the history of Nixie and Sherry's family being intertwined with the store? Or was it too much? Was it just enough? What were your thoughts on that? I feel like I really wanted to know more about Sissy, the woman that is, I think it's Nixie's great aunt, or great aunt, that Miss G knew very well and that Nixie reminded Miss G of. I really liked the history element of it, and I hope that there's like more mysteries within the past as they try to get the house like historically like with the historical society and everything like that, because I really, really enjoyed that. I know that some people are like, no, stay in the present. But there's just something about like having the history of the characters that you know that the author really took their time to make it feel real, like make all of the characters feel as though they are real. So I feel like she did like a really good job. Um April, I liked the family history and would really have enjoyed more about Sissy too. I liked how all of the town stuck together. Yes, it was just enough. Any more from me might have been too much. I can totally see that. So, what did you guys think about the relationship between Detective Eric and Nixie? So, we always have that fine line, right? Where our sleuth is trying to investigate and we are seeing them interact with the law enforcement of the town, right? So, one of the things that we look at is like, are they sleuthy enough that they're getting things before the detective? But does it also make sense, right? Because we don't want it to be so unbelievable that it pulls you out of the story every time the protagonist does something that, gets her in trouble or almost killed or whatever. What did you guys think about the balance between Detective Eric and her and just their relationship in general? I liked the history, but there was a lot going on in this book. But in the future books, she can go back and develop it out more. I agree. I feel like in the future books that there might be more history or mystery about what happened back in the past. Because according to Miss G, she owns her house, but then when Nixie went to the historical place to get all of the information about it, it looks like Aunt Sherry is actually owning the house and paying all of the taxes on it. So you kind of go, what's going on there? Like, what do you think about that? Did they address how Shore got Nixie's number to begin with? I don't think that they did because the book just started with him contacting her. I wonder if Aunt Sherry somehow gave him the number. Like the only logical thing I can think of is when Sherry left to help Nixie with her mom, that maybe she left a follow-up number and that's how he got it, but they never actually explained that. I loved Eric. He sounded hot, and I liked the banter and the buildup of their relationship. I did too. It was a pretty good slow burn. I liked the balance of the sleuthing between them, but the development of the romantic side of the relationship was awkward for me. It didn't flow well enough for me. Yeah, I wish that there was maybe like a little bit more buildup. Like she didn't even think of him until Miss G said how hot of a man stud he was, and then she couldn't stop thinking about it. But I'm a sucker for a little bit of romance. So at the end when they kissed, I was like, oh, and it cracked me up when Miss G opened up her windows and played the Little Mermaid song about like kiss the girl. Oh, I chuckled so hard with that. I liked Eric, but want to know what everyone thinks about all of Nixie's exes. Right? She had all the exes in the whole entire world, which is a judgy free zone, girl. You do you. But it seems like she was like a serial dater, which makes sense if she never wanted to like stick in one place and she never wanted to actually make those kind of secure connections. But yeah, it was always like, yeah, this one person that I dated. Oh yeah, no, I know this because of the lawyer that I dated. And I agree. That's good, Ellen. It was funny. I do love how Mrs. G was like, young people, get to it. In my mind, she was hot for him to begin with, but I agree. All those exes. It was just so many exes. I loved it. But I liked how much Eric teased her. Like, he seemed like a genuine person, which I can really appreciate. So let's get back to the mystery of it all. So Jill's coming in and trying to buy up all of this land. She's not telling anybody why. She's trying to bribe people, blackmail people, all of these things. We can't figure out how she even really knew about Lilyvale and like who she even knew from there. And then she starts vandalizing Sherry's house and the cemetery and everything. Well, Nixie starts doing a lot of digging about Jill and we slowly start finding out that she is harassing a lot of people, including our owner of Lily's Cafe, Clark. She's trying to buy him off. Who he has a big, huge gambling debt and everything like that. And we are seeing that, I mean, there's just so much going on that some of it can become like sort of a little discombobulating. But Trudy, her cousin, comes to Nixie and talks a little bit about a yearbook picture that she saw. And then Nixie starts doing more and more research into Jill and finally figures out that another young woman died named Trudy, and that somehow that's connected to the past. And basically, it all comes down to Jill had a very nasty habit of blackmailing people, even years and years and years ago. And she is coming to Lilyvale to try and buy up all of the land so that her sister cannot buy it for their company. And she's trying to make a lot of money off of this. And she's also trying to do it while blackmailing. And she knows one person in the town, and that is Grady. I think, Hardy, Brian Hardy, lawyer. And she found him doing something, and he was part of killing that little girl, or that girl from years ago. And it looks that she has come back to sort of get her blackmailing back in. And end of the story, Grady has killed Jill to keep up his lawyer politician ways. He attacks I think it was Clark, Tyler, because he thought that he knew more than he was supposed to. And then he came to Sherry's house to try and kill Trudy, Sherry, and Nixie, and try and get all of this under wraps instead of just leaving. What did you guys think of that as a whole? Were you shocked by the killer? Did you think that it was well thought out and that the author like left enough clues about it? Like, what did you guys think? Me personally, I don't think that I started suspecting him until towards the end of the book. I thought that he was kind of annoying and kind of like a douche in a way. Like, that's the only word I can think of. I didn't like him as a person, and I didn't like his aunt as a person, but I didn't necessarily go, oh, he's the killer, and think of it that way, you know? So what were your guys' thoughts overall about the murderer and how it all wrapped up in the end? I think that it did keep me on my toes. I really did enjoy sort of like the unraveling of the mystery. And I thought it was pretty cool. And I was okay with the not knowing of the whodunit or anything like that. Like, it didn't tick me off that I wasn't able to figure it out. Because there's some of those times where I'm like, I should have been able to figure it out, or I was mad because the author didn't leave enough clues or something. But I wasn't too salty with the ending of this one and not 100% knowing the whodunit or any of the red herrings that were left. Alicia, right. Didn't think of him even up to the end. Yeah, because he wasn't really like a main character. Same Courtney, I didn't like him, but I didn't really think of him. Yeah, like he only showed up in like little bitty parts. So then I like in my mind, him as a person, as a character, is oh, they're introducing him a little bit, but then in the next book, he's gonna be like more of a main character or more of like that annoying guy that likes Nixie or something like that. I didn't think of him until the end when he showed up more. I thought it was someone else at first. Yeah, there were multiple people that I was like, it has to be Trudy or it has to be someone else. But I did not think that it was going to be him, to be honest. That didn't even cross my mind. Like I was pretty sold that it was going to be Clark, or I think I was sold that it was going to be like Trudy or someone else from the past. I think I was also preoccupied with, is blackmail in a small town really that sustainable, right? Like she was blackmailing all of the people. Were you surprised at how the story left off? And are you going to continue with the series? So throughout the book, we learn that one of Sherry's tenants in sort of like the main stretch of the town is having to move to go and help her daughter take care of their children because their son-in-law has been deployed. And so that leaves Sherry in a lurch with no tenant in that building. I immediately, the moment I heard about the building and the apartment on top of it, I was like, that's where Nixie's going to go and live, because she's even second guessing about her job and her roommate's about to leave and get married. And so she's sort of in a hiatus at this point, like in her life, on where she was going to do. So when that was mentioned, like in the beginning of the book, I was like, okay, I know where this is going. And then at the end, Nixie makes the proposition that there's going to be like the Silver Six crafting shop or gallery that she's going to run with Fred's Fix-It in the back and all of these things. And it all comes to a happy ending with her finding her found family, staying near her aunt to take care of her, and all of that. And it looks like there might be romance in the future for Eric and Nixie. So what were your guys' thoughts? Oh, I actually liked that it was more of a surprise and that it took so long to figure out. There are only 2 more books, and the last one was published in 2017. So I hope she covers a lot in those books. I agree. I was looking before book club started, and I was like, only 3 books? I loved the murder mystery. I did figure it out about 3/4 of the way through. I loved the way the story ended. No, you will stay at the shop that includes the Silver Six. I'm looking forward to continuing the series and happy that it looks like 3 books so far. Yeah, once the roommate called, I was like, that's it. She's staying, right? My library has all 3 audiobooks. I might if I have time. I loved the way the story ended. Nixie stays and has a shop with the Silver Six. Knowing there are only 2 more, I will continue. Yeah, I hope that if there's 3 and there's only going to be 3 because the last one was in 2017, then I really, really hope that it finishes up in 3. I will be very, very sad if it doesn't finish up in 3 and then you're left hanging like some of the other series that I have read. So yeah, I was very, very happy with how this book ended overall. And I'm super excited that we all got to chat for a little bit about it. I'm so stoked. A little bit of housekeeping stuff. So remember, we have voted for book club for October. The theme was magical because, of course, why not do magical in the middle of October? And you all chose. So we had 31 people vote. The 3 choices were Snow Way Out, A Familiar Tale, and Spellbooked. Snow Way Out won by it's 55%. So let me put the link in the description, and I will send it to you guys. Just so you know, the Kindle for this book is only $3.99. So that's not bad at all. Loved the ending. I requested the next one. I will continue and complete all 3. Awesome. Super, super, super excited for you guys. If you guys are a part of any paid part of the Patreon, make sure you go and read that post because I'm taking November off for when Nick is born. So we will not have book club in November. And then we will start back up in December. I have already made the bookmark for Snow Way Out. It will post tomorrow morning. So you guys should go and print it out if you're a part of the paid tiers of Book Club. But I am going to get off of here. Alex is getting very tired, and it is time for his bed, and it's Mama's turn to put him to bed. But thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me for the past 45 minutes. It has been a blast. I love hanging out with you guys every single week. Let me know what you guys are reading on Instagram. You can always comment on the stuff on Patreon as well. I checked the publisher, and it was a Berkeley Prime Crime, and they are notorious for canceling series and not letting them wrap things up. That breaks my heart. This was fun. Thank you. Looking forward to next month. I was hoping for Snow Way Out. So was I, but I am all about my baby shower is not this coming weekend, but the weekend after, and it's Christmas themed. Thank you. Have a good night. Love you guys. You guys are amazing. And I will see you guys on the last Wednesday of next month. I think it's the 26th or something like that, but you'll see it on the post tomorrow on the Patreon group. But good night, everybody. Bye.